Trapped in a world of suspense and silence, this thriller keeps you on the edge of your seat.
If they hear you, they hunt you. Our review of A Quiet Place is coming up next. Co-written and directed by John Krasinski, the new film A Quiet Place tells the story of a family living in a post-apocalyptic world where sound is the enemy. In fact, the concept of it is if these creatures can hear you, they will come after you. The film stars John Krasinski and his real-life wife, Emily Blunt, alongside Millicent Simmons. Simmons is actually deaf in real life, and the movie has a unique way of actually playing with sound throughout.
Yeah, so I thought this was so cool. This is something that I had never really seen in a movie before, where I felt, ever since the beginning of the movie, they start playing with being completely quiet, and I feel like that just started building the suspense ever since the first scene, because you're just already thrown into this world where you have to be completely silent, and it just feels like there's always something kind of lurking around you.
Yeah, so you can hear a lot of the noises around you, but when Simmons comes on screen, and especially when she's walking across the bridge in an early sequence, like the sound goes completely blank. You can't hear anything. So it's kind of bringing you into her character's perspective.
Yeah, so it's really cool is I love how they play with, they're not only just playing with the ambient sound, but they're also playing with the sound of each individual character. Yeah. So like, for example, there's one scene where some characters are listening to music, and so at first you don't hear anything until they share the earbud with another person, and then that's when you get immersed in the music. So it's really cool how they play with personal sound in addition to the ambient sound that attracts these creatures.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is that the words carry more of an importance, because it's not a silent movie by any means, but when they do speak, as there are some scenes where they speak, there's an air of importance to exactly what they say, because with a film with so few words, every word has an added weight to it.
Who are we if we can't protect them? We have to protect them.
And that's one of the great things about the character building here. The character is built through facial expressions and through acting, but it's also built through the slim dialogue that we do hear, and it's built through like more subtle moments, like in the basement of the house where the family lives in, there's a board where the main character, John Krasinski's character, puts some notes. So you learn more about his character by what he's thinking about, what he's writing about, than you do through his actual words, because, as I said, you don't hear that much of him.
So what's really cool is you get this greater appreciation for these characters because you learn about them in such a unique way.
Yeah, and it also captures who they are, and there are some scenes that kind of capture who they were before the creatures came to the planet. Like there's a early romantic scene with John Krasinski and his wife, and it kind of captures their affection for each other in this world where making a lot of sound could be deadly to you.
It's so cool because I think it almost adds to the intimacy of it, yeah, because they have to keep quiet, and it's like this very quiet shared moment that is such a cool thing that they play with the film.
Now, a cool thing is, as I said, John Krasinski is actually married to Emily Blunt, who is his wife in the movie.
That's so cool. And also, I think you were saying too that, because you said that he directed it, but also that he had some role in the screenplay that you were saying?
Yeah, so he co-wrote the screenplay. I guess the original screenplay was sent to him, and he worked with the writers on the screenplay, and he ultimately directed it and stars in it, even despite the fact that he says he wasn't a fan of horror movies before this.
Huh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool because, I mean, he does such a cool job, it's such a great job with it, and it seems like it's just so different from a lot of the roles that I've seen him in,
yeah,
that honestly, he does such a great job. I really loved his acting in it, and I really loved all the acting in the movie. I think everyone did a great job.
Yeah, and there's plenty of suspense here.
Oh yeah, that is what I think was the coolest part of the whole movie, is I literally was on the edge of my seat the entire time because of this ambient sound, and just it was just such a cool experience, and it was just like so groundbreaking and different for a film to do.
Yeah, and so because most of the movie is very quiet, there's not an over-reliance on scary music. audiences get scared when there's even a subtle sound on screen because you don't know if a creature is going to break into a house. You don't know if a creature is going to attack. And so it builds up suspense by, oh, is this thing going to make a noise? So there are plenty of setups in the movie where you wonder if something is going to eventually make a noise leading to an attack. And so that's where the suspense comes in here quite a bit.
Yeah, because it's so different, like how you were saying, is these horror movies that rely so much on the orchestra and this like ying noises that you don't have in this film. And so every little sound, like between like a creak of a floorboard, just adds so much suspense because you're like, oh my god, is this thing gonna come after them now that they took one step in the wrong direction? So it's really cool how they play with that.
Yeah, so ultimately it's a very scary movie, but it is focused on this family, so you have a lot of great character development, but you also have the scares that would be necessary for like a good horror film. So overall, I would probably grade this an A. I think it's one of my favorite movies so far this year.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely an A. I loved the suspense, and it was just such a cool movie because I just felt like I was immersed completely in it because I was hearing exactly what everyone else was hearing. So I felt like I was like really there, part of it. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a must-see.
Thank you for watching our review of A Quiet Place. If you like what you see, subscribe to our channel.
Links in description.